Hello, welcome back. I'm Tommy, and I help people step into their power by eliminating limiting beliefs and thought patterns. So today we're going to speak about fear and overcoming fear in particular, since that's what we all want to do. And fear can be so debilitating for so many people and can keep us from really living the lives that we desire. All the dogs in the dog park sound like they're having a bit of a tussle. But we will continue. So, fear can keep us frozen. Fear can keep us from living our best lives. Fear can just limit us in so many ways. So, I just want to bring 3 points or pointers forward for you to consider in terms of methods by which you may overcome fear. My favorite, the one that I use most often, and perhaps you will too by the end of this video, is fear is lack of faith. So if we have faith, if you say that you have faith in some power greater than yourself, universal source energy, God, higher power, however you might describe it, Allah, it doesn't matter. But if you believe in something greater than yourself, then we've really got to remember to pull on that belief when we face our fears. And I've done this many times with really good success, by the way. When I face something that I'm afraid to do, oftentimes, however, I have to do it. Maybe it has to do with work or having a difficult conversation with a colleague or having to do a big negotiation with someone work-wise or having a challenging conversation with one of my children. It really doesn't matter. It usually has to do, at least for me, with communication with other people and a fear I have of speaking my truth without getting overly emotional. And that could mean without getting angry or without getting weepy. Whatever it is, with clear, steady voice and the ability to speak from my heart and be heard. That is a fearful thing for me sometimes. So we all have different circumstances. Natural born fear, like we're in a dark alley and we're concerned about the person walking behind us, that's a legitimate fear. So when the fight or flight kicks in, when we have legitimate fears, typically things that are threatening our lives, then that fight or flight adrenaline, cortisol will come up, and we will likely make a right decision in the moment to protect ourselves from harm. But that's not the type of fear I'm talking about today. I'm just talking about fear of things that you might not be afraid of, but I am, or vice versa. Just life circumstances that can cause us fear. Often dependent on things that have happened to us in the past, negative circumstances that we've encountered as a result of some interaction with someone in the past, a bad outcome from something that then sticks with us, and we're worried that every type of situation that is similar will have the same outcome. Those types of fears. So, fear is lack of faith. I use it all the time. I literally stop. I say my prayers to the universe, and I'm pretty careful with what I ask for in terms of support. I ask for right words, right actions, right thinking, right emotional response. I ask for the best that I can be in a situation. I ask for guidance. I ask for support. I ask for the ability to do something, even if I do feel fearful, with trust and faith that I'll be supported. However you communicate with that higher power, whether it be in prayer, again, in meditation, walking meditations, just going outside and quieting your mind before you have to do something that feels a little bit fearful. Whatever that is, fear is lack of faith. And that's what I remember when I feel fearful. I go right there. And when I do, I'm able to take a deep breath and move forward with whatever it is that I'm tasked to do. And 99% of the time, not only does it work out just fine, it works out better than I had imagined. And certainly those circumstances that I'm dreaming up in my head, how they're going to turn out much better. So that one is the best strategy for me. But there are others, and I wrote down 2 others. So the other one, I also use this a lot, is the straight up thinking process that goes into the circumstance that develops the fearful feelings. So what we think about, we bring about. And that would mean that when we're thinking certain things, we are personally responsible for creating a fearful scenario, which then builds upon itself, and we get frozen, don't want to make the move, don't want to do what we're needing to do, because we've thought about this circumstance and what we think is going to be the outcome. And we worry and we worry and we worry until we either don't make a move, or we might make a move and we find that we did get a not so great outcome. But I want to remind you that what we think about, we bring about. So we create self-fulfilling prophecies in terms of what we're fearful of if we're giving our attention to the outcome that we don't want. And if you're able to move yourself into the alternative potential outcome, because every outcome is available to us in the quantum field. In higher consciousness, you can pull from there any outcome that you desire, that you focus on, that you think about, and that you feel. So sometimes it can take some work and effort to change an ingrained fear. But if you deconstruct it to figure out what it is you're actually fearful of and whether it makes sense, because oftentimes it actually really doesn't make sense. It's just one of these programs that goes on and on and on until we decide to interrupt it and start to introduce some new ideas and some new thoughts into the mix. So if you're willing to stop and start thinking a new thought about the situation that you're concerned about, you can turn potential outcomes around before they actually happen. Because again, what you think about, you bring about energetically. So working on releasing the emotions through meditation or prayer, talking to someone, doing more research, speaking to a therapist or a coach, any of those types of processes where someone or something can give you the opportunity to change your thinking about a potential circumstance or outcome. You have the ability to turn your fear into empowerment. You have that ability with your own mind and with your own emotions and feelings. So that's another way to look at overcoming something that you fear. And the third solution, potentially, is that do it anyway. Now that sounds a little more difficult, the do it anyway, but some people function pretty well that way, in that they understand that fear, false evidence appearing real. Now, if you look at that and you can absorb and believe that, That a fear is just, again, evidence that you are conjuring, that you believe appears real or that will appear real. We're often fearful of things in the future, so based on experiences of the past. But this is where we want to break that cycle. So false evidence appearing real. When you get a fear, you can start to tell yourself that. This is false evidence appearing real. I know that I need not be fearful of this situation, and therefore I'm going to do it anyway. So it's uncomfortable. It may even feel uncomfortable as you go about whatever it is that you're tasked to do, that you're fearful of. But you will find that you have a positive outcome, or an okay outcome, or a not nearly as terrible an outcome as you are, again, coming up with in your mind. You've told yourself, I'm going to do it anyway. And the more often you say, this is just false evidence appearing real, I'm going to do it anyway, slowly the fear will dissipate. And you'll find yourself doing whatever it was or whatever it is, especially if it's a repetitive thing, like some new fitness routine or some new goal that you have. So maybe you always run 5K and you're now going to start to work towards running 10K. And you're very fearful of that. You're not certain you can do it. But this is a time when you can say, my thoughts are simply thoughts that are false evidence appearing real. And I'm going to do it anyway. And that is another pretty simple, straightforward way to start to overcome your fears. So I hope that was helpful. There's a lot that we can talk on the subject of fear, but these are some pointers that I have found work really well, and often things that are fearful for us, we need quick solutions in the moment. So try one or more of these. I'd love to hear how it goes for you, or in the comments if you use any of these or what you use. I would also love to hear about that. And if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, please press the heart that you'll see that comes up on the screen. And in the description, you can see links to our Facebook page and our Instagram posts, our Instagram feed, Pure Power Coaching. And there's also a Calendly link in the description if you'd like to book a discovery call to see if there's some synergy between us, or if there's some one-on-one coaching that might be appropriate for you. I would love to have that conversation. And I always appreciate you sharing, commenting, subscribing, and I will see you again.